Hi, all, and welcome to Money Managers, a User's Guide. I'm Nathan Peters. This week, I thought it would be a good time to examine a long held belief in the investing world that developing economies with emerging capital markets have higher potential growth rates than developed mature economies, thereby earning investors in those emerging markets higher returns than what can be found in developed markets. This belief has followed me my entire career, and I have struggled with this concept probably more than any other. When you travel to a place like Jakarta, Indonesia, for example, as I did over a decade ago, and you see the sheer potential of the place for Western style capitalism, you can't help but be optimistic about the prospects for securities listed there, especially equities, which should allow you to participate in local growth with unbounded upside. However, the prolific and thirsted over Adam Tooze put out a foreign policy essay and chart book this week, link in the description below, which depressingly laid out the reality that when the US tightens monetary conditions, especially in an inflationary environment, emerging markets suffer worst, reinforcing a counter narrative that the US bestrides the world like a true hegemon, and any progress elsewhere happens only when the US says it can happen, usually via loose monetary policy. And EM debt and equities are indeed leading the way down, with developed market debt and equities this year, just a little later and sharper. But was it ever good for EM after you account for all the other risk factors that drive global securities prices? Two Sigma's Venn platform explicitly tried to describe and track distinct drivers of markets in a holistic collection of 18 factors, which, importantly, are each clean and uncorrelated to any of the other factors by design. We've discussed many of these factors in the past, some of which are directional, such as equity risk, and some of which are cross-sectional or constructed to be market neutral. The EM risk factor is actually the worst performing factor since their data begins in 1995. That's 27 years of negative returns, including all the brick phenomenon espoused by Goldman Sachs in the 2000s, when they proposed that Brazil, Russia, India, and China would account for more than half the size of the G6 economies by 2025. And guess what? They already did. Well, mostly China. And you still lost money every single year by exposing yourself to developing markets, equities, bonds, and FX. If a factor never makes money, did it ever really exist? What does all this portend for the future, though? Is there any hope for a future outperformance? Well, taking our 1973 to 1974 template for future returns, which we've discussed in prior episodes, none of the available EM products that have survived this long appear to offer positive expected returns. When developed world equities and bonds sell off, EM descends into depressive conditions. Here is a long cycle chart of the lower highs that shows how each downturn that Pax Americana experiences sinks EM further into irrelevance. Will this time be different? Well, Adam Tooze is a worried no, and so am I. And that's all from me today on Money Managers, a User's Guide. If you find this content useful, please like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications of future episodes. And remember, use your money managers. Don't let them use you. Thanks.